people can join. So people are starting to join now. It's going to start automatically. I see Nina Beth is frozen for some reason.
I unshared my video.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll make sure you're okay. We are recording this, so I'm going to stop the recording for right now. 4:01. So I'm going to go ahead and start this session of District 7570's Club Team Training. I'm Kathy Napier. I'm the Administrative Assistant Governor for the district and also a member of the training team. So I welcome everybody here today. These challenging times have caused us to be a little more flexible in how we hold our training. And this is turning out to be a very efficient and effective way to get more participants. So we're thinking it's not a bad thing at all, and utilizing it hopefully in the future more. So the session today is on learning about and understanding the Rotary Foundation major gifts, major donors, bequest society, and we are delighted today to have with us Lori Menzel. Lori is a member of Rotary International staff. She is the major gifts officer for the northern part of Zone 33. She is a member of the Satellite Rotary Club of West Springfield Next. She lives in the Northern Virginia area, and we're delighted to have her on. She will be presenting today along with our own Dana Guthrie. Dana is our current annual gift committee chair for the foundation for the district. And this coming this coming Rotary year, she will be the chair for the district of the major gifts for our district. So she and Lori will be teaching us all we need to know about those type of special gifts and support for the Rotary Foundation. So Lori, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Kathy. It's wonderful to be here with District 7570, so I'm excited to be here, and so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen and start the presentation. Okay.
Oh, just one quick thing to let everybody know, we are recording this session, so we will be able to post it on our district website when we're finished, so those who could not join today could view it later. Also, as participants, everybody who has joined, you are all on mute. But we have a Q&A button on your Zoom panel. If you have any questions during the session, please just type in your questions and we'll answer them as they come up. Thank you.
Kathy, can you allow me to share my screen, please?
I certainly can. Let's see. Well, let's hope I can. Just 1 second. Here we go. So I have made you a co-host, so let's see if that'll allow you to share your screen.
Okay. All right, let's see now. There we go. All right.
We're seeing it.
All right, we're off and running. Okay, so it is wonderful to be with all of you this afternoon. Thank you so much for being here with us to talk about one of my favorite topics. Absolutely, this is what I do every day. And so I'm happy to share all this information with you about understanding major gifts, major donor, and the Bequest Society. So let's get right into it. If I can get my mouse to where I want it to be. There we go. Okay, maybe not. There. All right. So our roadmap for today, the things that we're going to talk about is to learn the difference between major gifts, major donor, and the Bequest Society, to explore different ways to cultivate Rotarians as we talk about these different types of gifts, and then the different ways to give. I think it's really important anytime that you are talking with a Rotarian about the possibility of a major gift or becoming a major donor or any of those type of gifts with the Rotary Foundation is to really make sure that they understand what the mission of the Rotary Foundation is. And it's really your Rotary Foundation. It's not just this building up in Evanston that sits there. It's your very vibrant foundation working hard to make sure that we can enable you as Rotarians to be out in your communities, whether it's local or global, to do all the amazing projects and programs and things that you are doing. So that's why we are here as a foundation, is for you. And I think that also goes hand in hand with trust. The trust that a person gives to a charity when they give of their gifts. And really, the Rotary Foundation has really earned that trust through many years of accountability. And you can see they've earned the 4 stars with Charity Navigator for the 12th year in a row. And some people may say, well, what is Charity Navigator? What does that mean? It's a nonprofit itself that rates charities. And you may or may not know that in the United States, we have over 1 million nonprofits. So our donors have so many different opportunities and charities to choose from. So we are extremely grateful that they trust the Rotary Foundation. And those 4 stars that we've earned really show that we are accountable, that we are transparent. They rate about, I would say, around 9,000 charities, and only about 60 receive those 4 stars. And when you get into those subsequent years where they keep earning it, it drops even lower to maybe about 1%. And going with that is also the fact that 90% of the gifts that Rotarians give go directly to programs, which is really incredible. I've worked with many wonderful nonprofits, and most of them approach that 70, some of them about a 75%, but I don't know that I've ever been with one that has 90% of the funds given going to programs. And a lot of that is due to all of you, because we couldn't do it without all of you and the hard work that you do in all of your communities. So I hope that you are very proud to be a Rotarian and feel that you can trust the Rotary Foundation with your gifts. So today we're going to look at the difference between, as I said, major gifts, major donor, and the Bequest Society. So sometimes people get major gift and major donor either confused or think they're the same thing, which I can totally understand. I live in this every day and I still get confused about things myself. So let's talk about the difference between the major gift. As you can see at the top, it says it is a gift of $10,000 or more at one time. So that could be an outright gift. Perhaps someone gives a gift of stock, or maybe it might be real estate, or maybe it's cash, or maybe they did it with a credit card. Through Rotary Direct. We do have Rotarians that love to use their credit cards to get their miles and their points, so oftentimes they might do it that way. Or a lot of people don't realize that the Rotary Foundation will do a major gift pledge of $10,000 or more. It's spread out over 3 years to the same designation. So for example, you might do a $10,000 gift. Each year that payment would be $3,333, and let's say you decided to select polio. So all of your gifts for all 3 of those years would go to support polio. And maybe you might use a required minimum distribution from your IRA to make those pledge payments. It just kind of depends on you and what you want, how you want to do that. When you do a major gift of $10,000 or more at one time, it does count towards your recognition, absolutely. And also it is a way to, if you maybe want to move from one level to another, maybe you're a major donor 1 and you are at $15,000 and you want to get to major donor 2. And so maybe you do a pledge of $15,000. That would be $5,000 a year. So there are many different ways to use pledges. And pledges, yes. And one of the last things I will say about major gifts is on the bottom I put are irrevocable. And so that means that once you give that gift to the Rotary Foundation, it's going to be used right away. So you're not going to get it back normally. We have a few extenuating circumstances every now and then, but when it comes to outright giving, most of them are irrevocable. So major donor is the recognition, where major gift is more about the actual gift itself. Major donor is the recognition that is achieved through cumulative giving by either individuals or couples. So perhaps maybe you're a Paul Harris Society member and you give $1,000 a year. In 10 years, you'll be a major donor level 1. So that's what we mean by cumulative giving. One thing I do want to point out is that you can't really combine this at all with recognition points. And sometimes people do get a little confused with Paul Harris Fellow points. One discussion I once heard was, well, this person is at $9,500. Let's give them 500 points and they'll be a major donor 1. And it doesn't work that way. All of major donor recognition is through outright giving. So that's one thing to always keep in mind. And then our last level when it comes to outright giving is the Arch Clump Society. And that's our recognition of our individuals or our couples who have reached the cumulative giving of $250,000 or more. These are our very generous donors that we have with the Rotary Foundation. As you can see, the different levels that we have for the Arch Clump Society. Like I said, it starts at $250,000. We do a very wonderful induction ceremony that is usually held on the 17th floor at Rotary International in Evanston, Illinois. Not sure how we're going to do that right now, coming up in October. If we move that to something virtual, I'm not sure yet. But normally in April and October, we hold those in Evanston, and they really are wonderful weekends to celebrate these donors. We have a portraiture gallery there. All of their portraits are in glass. And then they've added videos in recent years where we asked the new Arch Clump Society members to just give us a very brief testimonial of why they decided to trust the Rotary Foundation with this type of gift. And they really are very interesting. If you ever get up on the 17th floor, which you can do through the tours, I highly encourage you to do it. It is a really nice experience, and to hear the different reasons they have are extremely humbling as to why they have decided to support the Rotary Foundation. So perhaps a Rotarian comes to you and says, you know what, I really would like to become a major donor, but I'm not really sure how I can do that. How can I support polio, or how can I support District 7570 share, or how can I support one of the areas of focus? And so these are some of the different ways that if they decide they would like to give a major gift or become a major donor. As I mentioned, they could do things, of course, of cash, checks, doing Rotary Direct. I talked a little bit about pledges. That's one way that a Rotarian could support the Rotary Foundation through a major gift or become a major donor. We also do gifts of stock. We also do qualified charitable distributions, although I will say right now with the CARES Act, one thing to keep in mind is that required minimum distributions are optional for this year. Always talk to your financial advisor. That's very important, and see what they advise you to do and what type of assets to use when you are doing a large gift. But the IRA distributions are a nice way to give a gift to the Rotary Foundation. Both gifts of stock and the IRA distributions do have forms, just to let you know, because we want to make sure that we know when that gift is coming in and we can watch for it. When I first started with the foundation and I was talking with my boss, I said, well, you know, how many, donations do we process a year? And she said, well, Lori, we process over 700,000 donations a year. So it is extremely important that we can keep track of every one of them. And this is one of the ways, especially when gifts of stock or from IRAs come in, because sometimes the places they come from give us your name, but we definitely don't get a donor ID usually, and sometimes they might misspell your name. So we need to make sure that we have it all correct so that you get the right credit for that. And then the last one on here of ways to give is a donor advised fund. Those are extremely popular right now. People are really using their donor advised funds to support charities, including the Rotary Foundation right now. And those are, I like to call them like a charity checkbook. If you might have let's say you have a appreciated asset, some stock that you don't want to have to pay the capital gains on, you want that tax deduction, and so you might move that into a donor advised fund. And then as you're ready from that donor advised fund, you can make gifts and you can decide You can give to the Rotary Foundation. You can give to any number of charities, 501c3s, from that donor advised fund. And the Rotary Foundation can you do your donor advised fund. We do operate and have those, so you can open those through the Rotary Foundation. You can also do those through other companies such as Schwab, Fidelity, things like that. But those are some of the different ways that Rotarians can support today the Rotary Foundation and the projects and things that they want to do. So I think the least known probably or understood is probably the Rotary Foundation endowment. This is really how any Rotarian can really personalize the type of legacy that they want to leave through the Rotary Foundation. What do they want to support? If they want to really do a long-term support for programs, maybe even programs they don't even know about right now, but they just know that they want to leave support to ensure that future Rotarians have the funding and ability to carry out those, like I said, things that we don't even know about at this point. And so the endowment is the way to do that. And that's where we have our Bequest Society. So the Bequest Society is our recognition for individuals or couples who have made a commitment in their estate plans of totaling $10,000 or more to the endowment. And you can see the different levels of the Bequest Society. As I said, it starts at $10,000 or more and goes through level 6. Bequest gifts are revocable. So that's the difference between an outright gift and a bequest. Because bequests, sometimes we have Rotarians that maybe they change the designation on it. Maybe they change the amount. Maybe they change the vehicle that's going to fund it. So there are different things that Rotarians can do with bequests. And I will say that right now, surprisingly, we are working with a lot of Rotarians who are revisiting their estate plans right now and are joining the Bequest Society, or they are increasing it, or they're changing it in one way or another. I've had people ask me right now, well, do people really want to talk about this? It's very interesting. It's a case-by-case basis, but the Bequest Society is something that people are really talking about right now. In Hamburg, Germany, at our recent convention, we premiered the Legacy Society. And this is something that they have been talking about and really wanted to really recognize and steward our Rotarians who decided to leave $1 million or more to the endowment. And so that's why the Legacy Society was created. They also receive the many benefits that the Bequest Society members receive, but they also receive a few special tokens of appreciation. They went into the archives and found a tie that Arch Klump was wearing, and they had it recreated. So the men receive a tie and the women get a scarf of that. And then you see a little bit of the swirl at the top around the word legacy. They've created that infinity loop of a necklace for women, just to really show that when you join the Bequest Society, the Legacy Society, that it's forever and that your gifts are going to support Rotary forever. So maybe the Rotarian comes up to you and says, well, I'm interested in the Bequest Society, but how does it work? How can I join the Bequest Society? I've heard some people say, only people, extremely wealthy people can join the Bequest Society, and that's really just not true at all. Anyone can join the Bequest Society. There are many different ways that you can join the Bequest Society, such as naming Rotary in your will or a living trust. A lot of times Rotarians will leave a percentage to the Rotary Foundation in their will. They might do the same with a retirement plan beneficiary designation, or maybe they might think about an life insurance beneficiary designation. We do ask for whole life insurance. And one of the things with life insurance is maybe some of us took out those policies years ago, and maybe we don't need all of it anymore. And that might be a way to leave a legacy with the Rotary Foundation. IRA and retirement plans have a little bit more of a tax benefit when it comes to your heirs, something that you will want to talk with your financial advisors about. You can also leave the balance of your donor advised fund to the Rotary Foundation. And then getting a little bit more complicated, but things that the Rotary Foundation can do for you and manage for you are charitable gift annuities or charitable remainder trusts. And those are what are called life income agreements. And what that means is perhaps you have a appreciated asset, such as stock, that you don't want to have to pay the capital gains. You really want to give a gift to charity, but you also might need some of that, a little bit of that money for your retirement. And so the way that works is you put that money into a charitable gift annuity, and then you and a loved one for life leave payments based on your age. It's a retirement vehicle, so you're going to have to be age 50 or above. And your payments are based by percentage on your age. And we follow the American Council of Gift Annuities, and they provide those numbers for us. Most nonprofits do follow that. And so we use that to calculate what your payments would be. And for a charitable gift annuity, your payments and your gift are backed by the assets of the Rotary Foundation. When it comes to a charitable remainder trust, it works similarly, but what's different about it is that it's backed by the assets that you put in it. And so that's a little bit different, and the fact that it's for a max of 20 years. So there's some subtle differences to them, but they are definitely, some people are very interested in those, and those are some of the options that we are able to provide through the Rotary Foundation. But as always, like I said, it's really important if a Rotarian asks you, you make I mean, I'm giving you the ideas, but it's very important that they talk with their financial advisor or their estate planner to make sure that the decisions they are making are the best for them. Now, I wanted to give you an example of how you could create a legacy. So this is a named endowed fund, and these begin at a gift of $25,000 or more. As you can see, this one was established in 1994. It takes about a year for spendable earnings. So when you put a gift to an endowment, the principal is never spent. It's just the spendable earnings or the interest that come off of it every year that provide the funding. And our trustees manage that. They watch it every year to make sure that the percentage is appropriate. It's about a 5% for the spendable earnings. So on a $25,000 gift, it's about $1,000. As you can see with this gift that started at $25,000, the cumulative spending as of last year was at $38,000, and the market value was over $36,000. Now, right now, it might have gone down a little because we know what our markets have done recently, but it's still probably very stable. But it just shows you the power of the endowment, of that long-term impact of that gift that's going to come off every year. So for an example, let's say that I decided to do a named endowed fund, and I said, okay, it's the Menzel Fund. And it's for $25,000. I named the Rotary Foundation as a beneficiary of my IRA. So when that gift is realized, then that money comes into the endowment, and it is invested. And then each year when the spendable earnings come off, let's say I decided to designate District 7570 as the beneficiary of those spendable earnings every year. So when 7570 receives their foundation report each year, my name actually comes in as a line item on that, showing the Menzel endowment fund. So Rotarians in the future may not know me, but they will know that the district and all the projects are really important to me, and that this is how I chose to support it even after I was gone. And then also your heirs can get a report each year that shows the market value, the cumulative spending, and also where that went. So it gives you kind of the peace of mind to know that your heirs will also see that what you wanted to happen truly will be carried out for you. So this is really a nice way to leave a legacy with the Rotary Foundation. So lastly, I just want to talk just for a minute because people say, well, you know, how do we talk to people about this? How do you find them? How do major gifts or bequests work? You know, what is donor cultivation? You know, how does that work? So just a little brief overview of how how that works, what I'm doing all the time. And so a big part begins with identifying Rotarians. And that can come in so many different ways. That can come from data, where I'm looking at data. That can come from referrals, where perhaps you are talking with someone and you say, hey, Lori, I've been talking to Susie. She would really like to talk to you about such and such. Or maybe it comes from, let's say I go to a meeting or I go to an event and someone sits down next to me and we are having a cup of coffee or we are having lunch, and they say, oh, you know what, I'm so glad I got to talk to you. I have these questions I've really been thinking about joining the Bequest Society and I'm not quite sure how to do it. So there's so many different ways that might happen. And then once you identify Rotarians as being interested in possibly one of these things, a major gift, becoming a major donor, a bequest society, legacy society, then it's the cultivation that really takes time. And really, we are always on the donor's time. There's no way to rush it. It's all about the donor, being donor-centric and working with them. And then it's time to really discover their passions, really work with them, strengthen their Rotary interests. We have something called LIA, and that is linkage, interest, and ability. And linkage is, are they a Rotarian? Interest is when they are an active Rotarian. They are coming to club meetings, they are going to district conference, they're going to Rotary International, they help with projects, they're doing global grants, whatever it is that they are interested in. And so you can help strengthen that and work on that and invite them to things. And then also their ability, and really that's the one thing we can't really make a difference in, because their financial ability is there as alone. We can't really influence that. And so we have to work on really the interest level of them and finding out. And then the shortest part of the cycle really is the solicitation. That's the ask for that major gift or a bequest commitment. And really, there are a lot of people that feel very uncomfortable with that, and that I completely understand. And that's why I'm here. That's why Dana's here. That's why we're here to work with you and to help you along this journey. And that's when you call one of us and say again, hey, you know what? I think Susie is really ready and it's time to talk to her. And so when it comes to that point, it's very important to be prepared and ready. And, I might say, thank you so much, Susie. It's been great to meet with you. I know how passionate you are about polio. Would you consider a major gift of $10,000 for polio? And then just wait, and you're quiet and you let them think about it. It's very easy to get nervous at that point. You want to hurry it along, and there is no hurry there. It's all about what they're thinking. And then you celebrate. Whether they decide to or not, we always celebrate, because first and foremost, they're Rotarians. They are supporting the Rotary Foundation and Rotary, and that's really important. And if they do decide to say yes, then you celebrate that as well. And then you move into the stewardship cycle of where we're thanking them. That is so important. And it's not just one thank you, but it's continually thanking them and engaging them and showing them the impact of their gift, because this is a cycle and this is a circle. And a lot of times when Rotarians give once, they may give again. And so for me, the stewardship is so important, because that's how I'd say thank you, because I want to keep them engaged. And if they are interested again, well, we start that cycle again. But this is kind of just a brief overview of what it looks like for cultivating any type of gift. So I just want to end today with Paul Harris. Whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world, it will be known by the results it achieves. So all the wonderful things that you are achieving through all the gifts that you are giving to the Rotary Foundation, all the global grants, the district grants, and everything that's happening in your communities, really that is what's extremely important. So we will do questions, but I just want to say, after this session, in case if there's a question we don't get to, we absolutely will answer it. And if you think of something after it's over, please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. That's why we're here, and we are here to help you and be your partner in all of this. And I am going to stop my share at this point.
And Laurie, this is Kathy. We do have a question, and this question is coming from Case Peterman.
Okay.
And the question is it correct that if you have a donor advised fund, half of it cannot be used because it's a commitment to the Rotary Foundation and makes you a part of the Bequest Society?
I believe that's true, but I don't have it in front of me. So if Case doesn't mind, I will take that question down and make sure I give him the correct answer.
Okay, thank you. And if anybody else has any questions, please type them into the Q&A option on the control panel on Zoom.
Wow, it's a quiet bunch. Hope I didn't scare him.
Well, I'll just have to say from personal experience, Lori is a great person to work with when you want to decide on a donation or gift to the Rotary Foundation. Ron and I have met with her and we have been able to work through several different types of gifts, and she's a wonderful resource. So please utilize her going forward.
Dana, would you like to add anything?
Yes, in case anyone's interested, I just have some statistics about our major donors in the district, our Arch Clump Society and Bequest Society, that I'd like to share with you. So currently we have a total of 124 major donors. 92 are at level 1, 25 at level 2, 5 at level 3, and 2 at level 4. We have 2 Arch Clump Society members. We have 75 Bequest Society members, 39 at level 1, 12 at level 2, 13 at level 3, 5 at level 4, 4 at level 5, and 2 at level 6. And this wasn't mentioned, but I thought it was interesting. If you leave $1,000 or more in your will or in some other way, or if you give $1,000 outright to an endowment fund of the Rotary Foundation, you become a benefactor to the Rotary Foundation. And currently we have 346 benefactors. So I just want to thank everyone for continually supporting the Rotary Foundation, and I'm always here to help you, and Laurie's here if you have any questions at any time about how to reach a level to start with or to advance to another level. Thanks.
All right, so Case, I knew I had my paper here close by, so I just pulled it up. So the exact information for the donor advised fund is that at least 50% of the account's value at the time of the death of the surviving account advisor does go to the endowment fund. So 50% of the account's value at the time of death of the surviving account advisor is transferred to the endowment fund.
Lori, sorry.
Nope.
We've got another question coming in from Tracy.
Okay.
Tracy Bledo. So you can do a named endowed fund in your will? Question. Does that automatically make you a bequest society level 2, even though Rotary won't get the money until I'm in heaven?
Yeah, absolutely. There are different levels of the named endowed fund. It does start at 25,000, but absolutely you can, what we would tell you to do is to leave either an amount or a percentage in your will to the Rotary Foundation. You let me know, you say, okay, this is the percentage, and you estimate what that's going to be. And then we can do the named endowed fund with that information, and we create what's called a testamentary gift agreement. So it outlines, let's say you can set up the Bledo endowed fund for 25,000 or whatever the amount is to support whatever designation that you want to. And the reason we set up the testamentary gift agreement is because that way in your will, all you do is leave the information that the gift goes to the Rotary Foundation. And it's easier for you to change your testamentary gift agreement with us. Say you decide to change the designation, or maybe you started at 25 and then it grows to 100. And so that way you can change it through us, but you don't have to go back in and change all of the information in your will. And so that's why we set those up. So absolutely through, you can use any type of beneficiary designation or in your estate planning to set up a named endowed fund. And the other thing I want to mention about the endowment is that we do have some people that say, you know what, I want to do a named endowed fund today. I don't want to wait until I'm gone because I want to see the spendable earnings in action. And you absolutely can open a named endowed fund today, and it can already be working. And you can even do a pledge to a named endowed fund and say, okay, I want to do a $25,000 named endowed fund. And you pay that over 3 years, and then the named endowed fund is open. And one of the nice things about named endowed funds, once they're opened, which means they are fully funded by the donor, anyone can add to them. So if your family decides, oh, I really like this named endowed fund, like if I open one myself, my daughter can say, you know what, this was really important to mom, I'm going to add some money to it. So that's one of the other nice things about named endowed funds.
Any other questions out there? These have been good questions. It's not a question, Lori, but it is a comment from Nancy Whitlock. Great job, Lori. I learn something every time I listen to you.
Oh, good. I hope so. Well, and I hope everyone will reach out to Dana and I because that's why we're here to help. And no question is too small or too big. Please, the foundation is complicated, and that's why we're here. And I'm still learning. I've been with the foundation a little over 2 years, and I'm still learning every day. And I will give you just a little bit of an update then for a second on the foundation. Everything is running as it should. We are all working from home, and it was a pretty smooth transition, so we are very grateful for that. But like I said, everything is running well. Evanston hopes that maybe in early June they might be able to transition some people back into the building, but only if it's safe. I will say that the General Secretary, they have been extremely proactive throughout this entire process. I feel very grateful and very just well taken care of, that they really have done a good job and are running things very well and have switched. I mean, everything is virtual. I don't think they ever dreamed that, you know, trustee meetings would be virtual or all the different things that are going on. So be rest assured that everything is what is good and is very financially sound.
Oh, we have a new question come in. This is from Gary Norris. Will the deck be used that you use be available to all of us on this call?
Sure. Just let me know how you'd like it to be shared, Kathy.
Okay. Actually, if you don't mind, you could just email it to me, and then I can make sure it gets posted on our website.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Todd Hester says, thank you, Lori, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, if no more questions, I'd certainly like to thank Lori Menzel for joining us today, and thank you for the great presentation and all the different options of how we can support our foundation through major gifts, major donors, bequest society as well. And Dana, thank you for all your support you're doing for the district and for the foundation. We all appreciate it. Oh, I've got a couple more questions coming in. Here we go.
Okay.
Question was, will Lori's email presentation, or will Lori's presentation be emailed to us? It won't be emailed to each individual. I will post it, have it posted on our district website, and can send out the link to everybody who was here on the call today. And we have a comment from Cristil Caceres. Thank you from Honduras. Ah.
Wow, okay.
I didn't know this was an international call. That's great.
Well, just make sure you check with Honduras when it comes to different types of giving. Internationally, it changes a little bit, so.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
Okay, last call for questions, everybody. Oh, here comes one. Vivian Krimble, thank you, Lori, for an excellent presentation and for working with our district.
Oh, thank you, Vivian.
Great. Well, again, Lori, Dana, thank you both. We really appreciate it. And I'll look forward to getting the presentation, Lori, and we'll put it up on our district website for
All
everyone.
right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you
Great.
and thank you to everyone on this call for everything you do and all your support of the foundation. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you all. And with that, I'll say goodbye.